Hi guys, welcome to another bowling review video. So today we'll be analyzing Jesse Curiel, who is the magic behind Darren Tang's channel. So to say, he's the editor of Darren Tang's vlog videos. And probably, if you've watched any of Darren Tang's vlog videos, you've probably seen him. Yep. So this is Jesse and this is Lance. So both of them are bowling league. And yeah, they're in the same team as Darren Tang and they both league together and so on. So I wonder if I can get back to that particular video because I want to analyze Jesse Curiel's form. So if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you would know that I prefer to analyze bowlers who are just starting out in bowling or are uh, having some issues that they're struggling with. I usually tend to avoid analyzing the pros nowadays because the pros just have their game optimized to such a high level that I find that it's pretty difficult to learn anything from analyzing their style. Some of them will have their quirks and so on, but I find that by analyzing the typical bowler that is usually the typical kind of student that comes from my coaching lessons, that means they are either just starting out in bowling or they've been in bowling for bowling two-handed for like half a year to like 1 to 2 years, but they're still stuck at a certain plateau and they need to improve. These are the usual kind of people that I usually like to analyze because it's more realistic, it's more relatable to those of you that are probably watching the channel, probably watching the videos because you're trying to improve, and so on and so forth. It's more useful to the target audience here. So Jesse Curiel has he is, I think, quite new to two-handed, probably half a year or something, and he's struggling from the typical problems of most of us, the beginner two-handers, which is lack of ball speed, lack of accuracy, struggling with sparing as well, and he tends to miss his spares to the left, which I'll go through in this video here. So I want to start up my Epic Pen. Okay, so I've watched through the video. I will link this video into the my video description below. This is Jesse's first video on his own personal channel, not on Darren Tang's channel, obviously. So hope you guys can go over there, give it a subscribe, give the video a watch. It's really entertaining because since he's the editor for Darren Tang's channel, he's edited his own videos in the same entertaining style, with no sound effects, with shortened, everything has been compressed into a very entertaining watch. The jokes are included and so on and so forth. Overall, like, even though this is a 21-minute video, when you're watching it, it doesn't feel like a 21-minute video, which is the magic of his editing. So his editing sense is really good. Yeah, he has way more experience than me as an editor. So, okay, let's go on to his style. So we see Lance here, and we're gonna play it. Okay. Yep. You see that Jesse suffers from the typical problems of new bowlers, right? Which is that he couldn't nail his balance. So let's start from his finishing position first, right? So let's reverse this. Yep, let's start from his finishing position, and we'll analyze it from there. So first and foremost, you'll see that actually his release position is not too bad, right? He's releasing really, really close to his left leg, which I really like. So that's a really good position. Spine tilt is maybe overdoing his spine tilt, like maybe tilting far too forward. On release, his hands are straight, which is good. You will see that he has the very typical, it's typical of Asians, but not too common among men. We call it the childbearing arm, where your forearm, right, the first part of your forearm actually swings away from your upper arm. So that is something that we see in most Asian heritage, like people with Asian genes. Most commonly among ladies. It's less common among men, but I have actually at least coached one or two guys that have the childbearing arm in Singapore. So it is pretty common among the Asian genes. It's genetical. Nothing much we can do about it. It does give us a little bit of disadvantage in bowling, but it's nothing that we can't work around. Okay, so he has childbearing arm there, and his train leg is going up. So, but he doesn't stick his balance here. So let's see. Fast forward a little bit. Okay. So as he releases, what I feel he could immediately improve upon his release is that, upon his finishing position, is that his bowling shoulder could go a little bit lower still, so that it might help him to retain balance a little bit better. And as he releases, you will see that his bowling shoulder comes up, right? Okay, so we can see in the frame by frame analysis here, you can see that as he releases, he pulls up his bowling shoulder. And as he pulls up his bowling shoulder, his body weight, center of gravity, goes over to this side. So even though Jesse really extends his leg really well, like he extends his trailing leg really well, his balance arm is going up as well, but still he falls off balance. Right, let's analyze a little bit more. You can see that as he goes up, swings up, he kind of has his... So what I would suggest is, for him, for bowlers like Jesse who are struggling with holding balance after their shot, to keep their shoulders low. So their shoulders should be kept low, and their arms should be, after release, they should keep their arms close to their bowling feet. No, sorry, close to their sliding feet. And as you can see here, when he keeps it up, he is shifting his center of gravity over to this side, and that is actually what's causing him to lose balance. Okay. Actually, he stays on balance on this shot. Yeah. Nah, I think it's still pulling him off balance. Because if it wasn't for this, he would have not have done this, right? He wouldn't have left his finishing position. So mainly about that. It's mainly you can see his bowling arm here. So you can see his bowling arm swinging outwards. And this swinging of the bowling arm to the right is causing him to lose balance here. His bowling shoulder should be kept a lot lower as well. Other than that, during release, his knee bend is really good. So you can see he has really good knee bend here. But as he releases the shot, he stands up on his sliding knee. And as he stands up, yeah, he loses balance there as well. So, but mainly is the bowling shoulder. So for bowlers who are similar to Jesse, I would prefer for them to keep their bowling shoulders lower, keep it down, and to keep their bowling arm closer to their sliding feet, even after releasing the shot. That means obviously you can swing up for a follow through. So swing up for a follow through, and then just swing it back down, vertically. Swing it vertically back down, and keep it close to your sliding feet to maintain that balanced finishing position. Okay, so that's his finishing position. That's why he's actually losing balance. His timing is a little bit early. So let me check it out. So this is his second step. So he has Jesse has cut away his first step in his editing because I think he wants the shots to go a little bit faster, which is fine. Nothing much I can do about it. So that's his second step. This is his third step. So you can see that in his third step, the ball is swinging upwards. So his ball placement timing is a little bit too early, because ideally, if you are in so-called conventional timing, or if you have later ball placement timing, the ball would be like in between the gap between our 2 feet on our third step, or it should be a little bit more closer to our left thigh during the third step. So that would ensure that you have a slightly more delayed ball placement timing. So the delayed timing is actually good because it helps to so-called speed up our swing a little bit. So the delayed timing, so what I'll do instead is I'll do a follow-up video for two-handers. I'll be analyzing this video, which is here, by When the Lanes Come On 2023 US Team Trials, and I'll be mainly analyzing all of the higher level two-handers in the US Team Trials, and almost all of them have really good ball speed, pretty good fundamentals, and they're pretty competitive. So we'll be analyzing the competitive bowlers and how they generate their ball speed. And one of the similarities you'll find is that almost at least 50% or the majority of the two-handers actually have delayed ball placement timing. So they delay their ball placement until the end of the second step or the beginning of the third step. And because of that, delayed ball placement timing, they get to speed up their swing a lot faster. And the high speed of their swing and the high speed of their last three footworks is giving them a lot of ball speed and momentum. Okay, so coming back to Jesse here. So what I would also say that Jesse needs to improve on is that his so you can see that he's shifting his hips to the left here. Yep, right, he's shifting his hips to the left, which is what I advise all two-handed bowlers to do, but he is shifting it a little bit late. So I would suggest he can work on getting his hips out of the way a little bit earlier. Because as you can see here, his backswing kind of goes to the right a little. So you can see his backswing kind of goes to the right a little bit here. So let's look at it in frame by frame as well, right? So you can see his backswing is here. So let's put a line here. This is his backswing. But as we go through frame by frame, as he swings up, you can see now his backswing is like this. Oh, no. Now I need to reverse it back to that frame. As he goes here. So now his backswing is like this, right? So you can see his backswing has warped in a way. So from going straight, from aiming straight at the target, which is target area is around here, probably around the break point, probably around, I would say boards 7 to 8 around here at the break point. So his target was here. So his original arm swing, which is the line in blue, was actually aiming towards that break point. But as his backswing swings up, his swing goes out of plane. So, and it warps into that red line here. And because of that, when he has to swing down and release his shot, he has to do quite a fair bit of compensation. Like his body has to compensate for this misdirected backswing. And that's causing him to lose a lot of accuracy and a bit of momentum and power as well. Yeah, because he has to do some compensation with his subconsciously with his muscles. And let's see as we clear this. So you can see that as it goes down, yep. So as it goes down, he has to straighten this, right? So reverse again. Okay, let's use red here. We draw a line. So this is his warp backswing. Okay. And as he swings down, you can see he has to warp, turn his backswing into the correct orientation to go towards the target. Oh no, I clicked the arrow instead of the drawing tool. Let's go back. Okay, so this is warp backswing. This is correct. So he has to warp this down to here. So you can see from the red was his warp backswing, and he has to compensate and change his downswing into this blue line position before he projects his shot out. So there's a little bit of energy wasted, a little bit of inefficiency there from warping the backswing. And the reason the backswing warps, I believe, is because he doesn't get his hips out of the way. Let's draw this. So his hips has to shift to the left a little bit earlier in the ball placement. So I would suggest placing his ball probably just one step or half a step later, and to shift his hips to the left a little bit earlier so that to make way for his downswing and to avoid that warp, to avoid having his backswing warp behind his hips like in the red line here. Okay, something I also noticed that in this freeze frame is that if you look at his feet, his shoes are actually brushing the floor. So that is actually, yeah, so if you are wearing, I mean, obviously we have rubber sides, right? So the rubber on his soles would actually scratch the surface of the floor here. Typically, this presents an issue, which I think the problem with like why this problem happens, because typically if you have good fundamentals, your shoes shouldn't be scratching the approach like this. I would think, because we can't see his side view, so I would think that he's not leaning forward enough. Even though you can see that his body is really low here, I think he's leaning more to the side and less forward. So I believe Jesse needs to lean probably a little bit more forward, have a little bit more weight transfer of his upper body on the forward, and so that his feet doesn't end up scratching the surface. Um, he, yeah, that is what I believe. But because I don't have a side view from here, I mean, typically I would need to have a side view from here in order to truly analyze whether he's getting good upper body weight transfer. So another thing that Jesse suffers from, which is lack of ball speed. So we're gonna just play a shot here. So you can see his full shot. Okay. His ball speed, as I've written on my OBS here, is typically around 22 kilometers per hour, because I've previously measured it. So you can measure it using a few ways. You can use a stopwatch and time, like the amount of seconds that it takes for Jesse's shot or your own shot in your video to go down the lane, and you could do some conversions of your the lane's distance 60 feet, convert to kilometers and convert to miles, because speed is equals to distance divided by time. Obviously, Jesse's ball takes about 2.9 seconds, which is this amount in hours. And I'm going to divide this distance in kilometers divided by the amount of hours his ball takes to travel, and I'll get around here, right? 22.7 or about 14.1. So most of the game, most of this league series, Jesse is averaging around 22 to around 23 kilometers per hour. Ideally, if you want to be competitive as a two-hander, you should be aiming at least to hit about 25 to 26 kilometers per hour. 26 to 27 kilometers per hour to be competitive at like a national level or international level. If you're trying to go like semi-pro or pro, like 26 to 27 kilometers per hour is the minimum that you will need as a two-hander in order to hit, in order to be competitive. And if not, at least no, you need to hit about 25 to 26 kilometers per hour. That is the minimum. Anything less than that, and for no Jesse's ball speed, I'm also struggling in this ball speed range. And the reason why we're struggling in this ball speed range is because of our tempo. So you can see here as we analyze this shot, like Jesse's footwork is not as fast as a competitive two-hander. So he has pretty slow footwork, especially on this fourth step to the slide. Like this fourth step to the slide is pretty slow. His swing is also considered pretty slow as well. Like he doesn't accelerate his swing, his downswing as fast as we can. So as I mentioned, I will be analyzing the more competitive two-handers in a follow-up video here, where you will see more competitive two-handers who are bowling in the US team trials, and you can see here that they have really good ball speed. So I'll be analyzing their form, and probably, we're not gonna unearth any secrets, but we're probably gonna get tips from analyzing them to see how we can increase our ball speed a little bit further. Yep. So part of that warping backswing, earlier we mentioned about this warp in Jesse's backswing, is also one of the reasons that he's actually struggling with his spare shot. So his spare shot typically goes to the left, and you can see that throughout this video series, that throughout league, he's constantly missing his spares to the left, especially his pin 10 shots, and that's because of this warp backswing, because this backswing warps this way. As the shot goes down, he tends to pull the shot to the left instead of missing to the right. So part of that reason, yes, the backswing is an issue, and also his release as well. As let me go frame by frame onto his shot release. Let's see if we have something from his spare shots. Okay, let me forward a little bit. Let's see, you can see one of his spare shots. Okay, there is one here. I wonder if the opponent has blocked it. Yeah, kind of. It's blocked it. Let's try and find another one of his spare shots. Okay, that's a strike shot. Okay, that's a spare shot. It's going straight. Let's see whether we can. Yeah, I think it cuts it. Yeah, this is not a great shot here to analyze. Yep, in a long format video, it might be really hard to find a particular frame to analyze. Okay, this one. Yep, so it cuts it a little bit. Yep, okay. So this frame is good enough. So you can see his hands are at the right side of the bowling ball during his spare shot release. And if you've seen one of my own training videos, right, where I actually spend like 4 to 5 games just to practice my spares, what I advocated there was to have your hand to be behind the back of the spare ball instead of that means behind the back here, like as if you're almost going for a backup shot, but just that your hands are right in the middle, right behind the spare ball, and you're going to project your spare ball towards your target. Basically, you're going to do what we call a forward rotation shot. So you're going to forward roll the shot, and that should minimize the hook on your spare shot, because no matter what two-handers, we can't really cut down on the ref rate. Since we don't use our thumb, we have to cradle the ball, get under the ball. So regardless of how you release the shot, you're gonna generate revs on the shot. So the only way to get the spare ball to move relatively straight is to give it a forward rotation. So for bowlers like Jesse, if you're struggling with missing a spares to the left, because you are releasing what you're doing, what Jesse is doing here, which is you're doing your strike shot release, having your hand on the right side of the ball as you release the shot, and that makes your ball hooks to the left, right? Your spare shot will go this and you will hook. So because of that hook on your spare ball, and because of the lack of ball speed, because you're probably averaging around less than 24 kilometers per hour, your spare ball is typically hooking. When you're hitting about 26, 27 kilometers per hour, usually your spare ball would hook a lot less because of the amount of speed you're projecting on the shot. So your release doesn't matter as much, but still having a straight forward roll release on your spare shot is gonna give you more room for error when you're hitting your spares, and it's going to increase your spare percentage. So that is what I would advocate for bowlers who are missing spares, like Jesse is struggling with here. As you can see, he misses it to the left. Yep. So that is a perfect example, and he misses quite a lot of these spare shots to the left, and that's because many of his backswing and his releases and his release for the spare shot as well. So other than that, well, not too much. Jesse mentions a little bit about like how he's struggling to bowl from in front of the ball return. I don't know whether it's this shot. Yeah, so this is a pretty good example. So I think he mentions in his video, you can watch his full video with the audio. Is that he's kind of doesn't know how to bowl in front of the ball return. So what I would suggest for bowlers is to do the 3-step drill more often. If you're doing the 3-step drill, then you could use the 3-step drill to bowl in front of the ball return. If not, if you are a typical league bowler that doesn't do any drills, it's still fine. What I would suggest is for you to shuffle your first 2 steps. That means you will still do your 5-step approach here. Okay, type something here. So you still do your 5-step approach here, just that you're gonna shuffle your first 2 steps. So instead of moving forward with your first 2 steps, you're gonna kind of shuffle your first 2 steps in place. And in order to get the same ball speed from reducing your approach distance, you need to have a higher tempo with your overall footwork. So you're gonna shuffle your first 2 steps a lot faster than what you used to walk for your first 2 steps. And as you shuffle the first 2 steps, you're going to do your ball placement in like either the beginning of your 2nd step or the beginning of your 3rd step, whichever you're comfortable with. So everything is still the same. It still feels something similar to your 5-step approach, just that you're shortening a lot of the approach distance because your first 2 steps are in the same spot rather than moving forward. So shuffle your first 2 steps and then go into your full 5-step delivery when you're in front of the ball return, when you have very limited space for your approach. And you should find that it's still rather possible to stand in front of the ball return and deliver a shot there. Okay. So Jesse is actually doing the three-step approach. I would say Jesse is actually doing a pretty decent job of bowling in front of the ball return. Just that his shot. So throughout the video, you'll notice that Jesse's struggles is that the ball is overhooking, and so on because of his lack of ball speed, and probably also because of the lanes as well. Notice that they're bowling on the corner lanes 31 and 32, which is right beside the aisle here, or the walkway as we like to call it in Asia. So right beside the walkway or the aisle here, and there's no lanes to the right of lane 32. So typically what happens on such corner lanes are that the topography isn't that good. From my personal experience is that I felt that most of the lanes on where there's a aisle on the right, they're kind of tilted this way. So because they're tilted a little bit upwards, like this is higher, like the right side is higher than the left side. And because the lanes are slightly tilted, the ball hooks a lot more, even though it's all the same way as all the other lanes. That because of the topography of the lane, it hooks a lot more. So that is my personal experience. But of course, the reverse could be true. You might find that the ball doesn't hook on such lanes. That might be because the topography of the lane during construction, whereby the right side is tilted less and the left side is tilted upwards. That would make your ball hook a lot less. So you will find that your ball might struggle to go into the pocket on such lanes. So you will have to like adjust, like play different lines, use a different ball when you encounter such lanes, and you'll probably be bowling like a totally different line than on your right lane than on your left lane, right? You'll probably be going like a lot deeper on the right lane in this case if your right lane hooks more, and you might playing a lot straighter on the left lane because it hooks less, so on and so forth. So you got to be flexible when you're bowling in such like we call it corner lanes or lanes which are right beside an aisle or walkway. Okay, I think that's about it. So this video has gone on to close to 30 minutes again. So thank you guys for watching, and if you like to learn more about how to generate ball speed as a two-hander, so probably catch out my next analysis video. Okay, we'll see you guys next time.